Hello everyone, we are live from Delaware Speedway up in Ontario, Canada for round 19 of the Blue-Emu Offline Stock Cup Series, second season. It is the Mountain Dew 15. So we are officially past the halfway point. Only 7 races to go until the end of the regular season. And we're going to have a 30-lap event here around this half-mile short track in Ontario. It is Krisi Spletzer's home race, so look for them to try to come up from a poor qualifying start. And speaking of which, let's take a look through your starting lineup. On pole is the number 19 Pokemon Sword Mercedes-AMG. It's Jackson Kelsey, Team Disaster's first pole that is not for Nonigan Scott. To his outside is the number 25 Met-clad Mercedes-AMG of Riley Wilkin, and all-Mercedes sweep on the front row. Row 2 sees Rose Neal in her highest start in her BOC career, and Nonigan Scott, Kelsey's teammate. Row 3 is the Otts Racing Cars of the 85 of Vincent David and the 36 of Renan Issip. Row 4 sees Neo Stark, another Canadian, and Felix Jansen. And rounding out the top 10 is the 16 of White Quali and the 55 of Zachary DeLello, looking for a better day than last week at Steelback. Then row 6 is a pair of Chevys in Patrick Starr, last week's winner at Steelback, and John Davis. Row 7 is the 10 of Aaron Yeager and the 89 of John McFadden. Row 8 sees points leader Derek Hamill next to Bailey Pendergast. Row 9 is the 99 of Tim Pitch and the 50 of Seishin Tomioka, looking to finally set into a groove. And rounding out the top 20 is Kevin Hulkenberg with Holly Ocho. Then in row 11, it's the 28 of Evan Hunter and the 14 of Adrian Rojas. In row 14 sees Nelson Reeves and Jake Galloway. Row 15 are the 2 Spletzers, with the 54 of Theo Spletzer ahead of hometown hero, the 20 of Krisi Spletzer. Then in row 14, it's Jake Rose and Anderson Reed, a pair of Toyotas. And rounding out the top 30 is the 76 of Noah Clifton and the 74 of Blake Kanaki. Then row 16 is Leland Hill and Njika Kazami, a pair of Toyotas. Row 17 is another pair of Toyotas in the 80 of Adam Mitchell and the 45 of Ryan Llewellyn. Then in row 18 is Josh King and Rafiq Rizana. Row 19 sees BOC debutant, the 71 of Richard Herman, and the 75 of Tommy Rello. And rounding out the top 40 is Tara Lowell with Ryan Keefe. Wolf Racing having a very poor qualifying run. Rounding out the field is going to be Able to Grow and Azul Cielo. So we are ready for 30 laps here.
Drivers.
Jackson Kelsey becomes the 32nd driver to take a BOSC pole position. Can he convert that into a race victory is going to be the big question ahead. The inside line has been proven to be the preferred line here. There's no mechanical issues. All 42 cars are rolling. And the green flag is out here from Delaware. And it is going to be a good start for Riley Wilkin, but into turn 1, Jackson Kelsey has the lead and Rose Neal's already going for second. Kelsey jumps out to the early advantage. Meanwhile, it is Wilkin and Rose side by side for second. Rose Neal goes into second place. She could be looking for her first BOC victory as she clears Wilkin into second. Meanwhile, Jackson Kelsey has left the field behind. He got a great getaway. And now here comes Vincent David looking possibly for second on Rose Neal. Heading down into turn 1, Neal keeps David behind as Neo Stark now moves into the top 5. As look at Kelsey, he is just... That 19 is really gone. He is already nearly a second ahead of Rose Neal, as Neal currently holding down second. Vincent David sitting third, Neo Stark fourth. Riley Wilkin, outside pole sitter, has dropped down to fifth. Nonigan Scott, who started fourth, he's tumbling back. Meanwhile, he gets passed by his championship rival, Derek Hamill. Hamill is 30-some points ahead of Nonigan Scott, and he'll be looking to extend that even further as we head closer and closer to the playoff. As we look back up the order, Neal crossed the line 1.11 seconds behind Jackson Kelsey. Kelsey added a 10th on Neal. So it'll just be a matter of trying to catch that 19, which at the moment looks absolutely untouchable. as adding another 19/100ths on his lead. Jackson Kelsey has really just taken off. Blake Ganaki has slipped into last place here. A bit of contact there between Nijika Kazami and Ryan Llewellyn. As you see, Ganaki actually has a bit of damage. Wondering if he had a small incident. So the 74 now sits last, heading through turn 4. Meanwhile, Kelsey heads down the back straightaway. I would not be surprised if we saw lap traffic play a factor. We saw it at Steelback, nearly cost Patrick Starr his race win. So look at Zachary DeLello here. Had a mechanical issue last week at Steelback, which saw an end to his race. He currently sits 20th after starting 10th and nearly ran into there by the one of John Davis. Showing that the outside line is not the place you want to be, as here's USC debutant Richard Herdman sitting in 28th right now, running that second Hulkenberg Racing Team after the shutdown of Team Dayspring, who were struggling to make races. Herdman puts it in for his first race, and he is running decently, now up in 27th for the W. As Jackson Kelsey continues to lead nearly 2 seconds, which is amazing. Like, it's quite the big margin here for a half-mile track. Rose Neal sitting pretty comfortably in second, Vincent David still third. Then Neo Stark and Riley Wilkin currently still round out your top 5. Aaron Yeager currently sits 6th, then Wyatt Pollard 7th, Patrick Starr 8th, Derek Hamill 9th after starting 15th, and Tim Pitch, Bristol winner, currently rounds out the top 10. Look at that, Theo Spletzer all the way up here in 14th. Clearly showing that the inside line was definitely the line to start on. As you see, there's Nottingham Scott, who started 4th. He is down into 20th. As a bit of 3 wide there. This is McFadden, Tomioka, and Herman. So look through the field. Ganaki still sits last in his damaged 74 car. It's just not been his season after RFJ Motorsports is, after the team shut down. He moved to this Mitchell Motorsports 74. He's just not been able to get anything going in that entry. Has fallen out of the playoff hunt, but man, these runs are definitely not going to be helping him. So you look back up to the front, it's nearly 2.5 seconds now for Jackson Kelsey. He is really putting on a show here as Rose Neal starting to maybe try to pull away from Vincent David for a second. But yeah, there is no stopping this 19 car. It is now 2.5 seconds between him and Rose Neal. Here's the rear of the field is Zostiello and Blake Ganaki as they're going 3 wide, Llewellyn, and Krisi Spletzer. As Llewellyn looks like she's going to be the big losers. Now there's more 3 wide, Kazami, Krisi Spletzer, and Ryan Keith. Keith, a race winner at Indianapolis. The Wolf Racing Team just hadn't been able to get anything going in qualifying, so both cars qualified pretty low. As for, of course, both cars being 1-2 in the Rookie of the Year standings right now. As there is Jackson Kelsey on lap 19, so a bit over halfway through. Kelsey is catching this rear of the pack, nearly 3 seconds ahead of Rose Neal, as we see 3 wide here between Ganaki, Llewellyn, and Kazami. Yeah, and there is Jackson Kelsey. This 19 has put on an absolute butt whooping on the field. As Aaron Yeager moves Riley Wilkin up, she's going to be looking for a top 5 finish in that 10 car. And heading off of turn 4, Yeager will get the move done. And Aaron Yeager is into the top 5. There is Jackson Kelsey, and there is Rose Neal. Kelsey heading through turn 4, catching Nujika Kazami. Neal just heading through turn 4. She is now 3.2 seconds off of Jackson Kelsey. So, unless these lappers can play a very big role with only 8 laps to go, or a mechanical issue, I think Jackson Kelsey's got this one in the bag. So now as we have 7 laps to go, Jackson Kelsey just coming up on the rear end of Michiko Kazami and Tari Lowell. Meanwhile, Rose Neal just hit the back straight. Kelsey's heading through 3 and 4. Michiko Kazami nearly cost Patrick Starr his win last week at Steelback. Let's see if she gets out of the way for Kelsey. This track has proven it's not really one that you're able to pass on that well. As you can see here, Kelsey's going to stay right tucked behind that 26 car. Sliding a bit wide there. And Rose Neal, 3.5 seconds behind on that last lap. Let's see if that gap changes any as Kelsey comes across the line. And it did go down. 2/10 was what Neal took out of Kelsey's advantage. He's going to want to get by Kazami if he wants to have a shot, if he wants to be able to possibly keep this lead, as Kelsey does get by the 26, but now has the 44 of Tari Lowell to deal with. As Rose Neal now hunting. It's now down to a 3-second gap, and as Kelsey crosses the line, we'll see Neal come across the line. And couldn't quite make much of an impact, only took 1/100th off Kelsey's advantage. Coming to the white flag. These last few laps have gone very quickly, and I don't think Rose Neal's going to be able to catch Kelsey. Coming through 1 and 2, as long as no mechanical issues, despite being mired in lap traffic, Jackson Kelsey's going to have put on an absolute show. He'll become the latest winner in BOSC history. Jackson Kelsey wins the Mountain Dew 15. And then it'll be Rose Neal, a well-earned second place for that 84 team. A great morale boost for them. Vincent David comes home third. His impressive run continues. Neo Stark fourth, Aaron Yeager fifth. But what a day for that 19 team. Jackson Kelsey puts on an absolute show here in Delaware Speedway. He wins by nearly 3 seconds, 2.84 to be exact. And it was just a dominant showing for them. Let's take a look through the full finishing results. Jackson Kelsey wins, Rose Neal second, Vincent David third, Neo Stark fourth, Aaron Yeager fifth, then Riley Wilkin, Wyatt Qualley, Patrick Starr, Derek Hamill, and Tim Pitch round out the top 10. Kevin Hulkenberg, Evan Hunter, a great finish for them. Nelson Reeves, Theo Spletzer, Jake Rose, Noah Clifton, Leland Hill, Nottingham Scott, who fell all the way down to 18th. John Davis, Renan Issip, and Josh King round out the top half of the field. Then it goes Jansen, Galloway, DeLello, another disappointing run for that 55 team. Tomioka DeGroat, who started on the last row, comes up to 26th. Richard Herman, 27th on his BOSC debut. Then Rojas, McFadden, Pendergast, Rizana, Mitchell, Oko, Llewellyn, Rolo, Reed, Krisi Spletzer, not able to do much. Keith, Cielo, Ganaki, Lowell, and then Nijika Kazami finished 1 lap down. That has been all from Delaware Speedway and the Mountain Dew 15. We will see you next week for the longest race of the season. It will be the Riki 90 from Riki Raceway, just across the country in Quebec. Until then, this has been Ash Jacobson, and we will see you next time.